Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank y'all for joining me. Just wanted to know what y'all thought about this situation. You know what I'm saying? What can be done, if anything. Um, I just took. People wanted to know different knowledge or more knowledge. You know what I'm saying, on how it could be a successful school year for college students, grade level, middle school, as well as like you said, parents working at home. How that's able to be managed. So I wanted to have you two on here to get more or give me more insight / Facebook more insight, but we're not able to get the insight to Facebook. So we here recording the audio.
I'm gonna go ahead and let Dr. Ellington go because she got more degrees than I do. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't mean I'm gonna have more answers to this one. So you're asking two separate questions. So one question is about the effectiveness of what is being provided online and how can parents support their students in online learning. Mm-hmm. That's a separate conversation than how do you balance it all as a parent who's working from home, who got kids. So that's a different conversation. They're connected, but that's different. So we all know, those of us who in education know that when you think about education, it's really a socially constructed enterprise. Mm. We have learned from learning theories, et cetera, constructivist learning. I'm not going to get sophisticated with it because I teach courses in learning theory. But what I will say is that we know that learning is a social constructed enterprise, right? You need others, you bounce ideas off of others, you consider what other people bring to the conversation, to the learning experience as a way to inform your thinking, right? So when you take that out, so when you're online, you are kind of in a room looking at people on a virtual platform, and you lose some of that interaction. I know people say you can do things online, but it is not the same. As a teacher for over 20 years, who's done online classes as well as in-person classes, you lose something when you are interfacing with the computer. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's just call it that. Now, does that mean you can't be successful? Does that mean that there can't be any growth? No, because we do have tools that can simulate some interaction. So for example, we're in 3 different locations and we're interacting, but notice it's very, I'ma talk, then Khris will talk, and Ray will talk. It's not the same kind of collaboration that when you're in a classroom, students can really come together and work through things and, ask questions and, get a pencil from a person, right? It's not that interaction. Mm-hmm. So I just want to say, one, what you want to do in an online environment is to facilitate as much interaction as you can. When teachers are thinking about instruction, when parents are trying to help their kids, how can you get your kid to interact with the material, with the teacher, and with their students in a way that will help them learn? Mm-hmm. That's what's most important. Now, you are limited because things are happening in virtual space as opposed to real space. So I haven't figured this one out, Khris. Now you might, as a college professor, we suck on a good day. I happen to be a good one because I was trained as an educator. I used to be a math educator. I taught high school math. I had to work with students and, teach them a certain way. So as a college professor, I have a little bit of that K-12 experience that I bring to the college classroom. But most of my colleagues struggle on a good day to interact and really engage students. So I'm going to leave that to you when you think about ways to engage students in an online space that can really help foster learning, collaboration, etc. I'm still working that out. What are your thoughts about that part?
That is a loaded question. I think what's tricky about it is, unfortunately, not all schools are created equal and not all districts are created equal. Mm-hmm. So I currently work in a district, I work in Alexandria, where the entire infrastructure was already in place if we had to go digital, right? Oh. Now, obviously, that wasn't the desired goal, right, was to go digital, but students they already all had laptops, or they already all had iPads. In terms of technology, it was already one-to-one. and Alexandria had already purchased a whole lot of instructional software. And with that software also came, I would say, optional training for teachers because it wasn't mandatory because we were in person. So you're going to have a lot of different teachers on different levels. You have teachers who they decided to go completely tech, practically paperless prior to even sliding into this environment. And the only difference for them was having students sit next to each other and have their laptops lined up to play games cohesively or work on something cohesively or be able to point to that person's screen. And then you had people who were completely pencil and paper. A lot of other districts were not set up this way. Understandably, who could have predicted this? And who could have predicted needing the funding for this? So even though you might have laptops, you might not have the instructional software. And you might have the instructional software, but the teachers might not have had the training, right? So as far as my environment, we do a lot of pop-up questions, a lot of mini polls, and they don't have to answer aloud, right? It's something they could just type in, they can click. Zoom has like a little annotation feature where I can, have a chart up and the kids can drop little messages there or even write in text. And they can do that collaboratively as a group. I can set up Google Docs and do breakout rooms and put them all in different rooms to work on the same problem. And I can pop into each one and see what's going on. And then, of course, there's just rapport building right off top, right? Mm-hmm. That's something they really push in K through 12 because what's the saying? They don't care what you know until they know you care, or, right?
So how can you build a rapport on virtually though?
No, I mean, it's not the same. It's not the same at all. Mm-hmm. It is not the same. That is one of my strengths, generally speaking. I can look at my kids and tell when they're having an off day. Once I've seen them enough, and I can pull them after class or before class. Hey, what's going on? How you doing? Talk to me about this, that, and the third. There's a lot of body language that's going to be missing for me, right? I don't get to see how they look as they're walking through the hallway. I don't get to see how they interacted with another teacher. I don't get to see how they interacted with other peers in the hallway. A lot of that is missing. So, a lot of what I use to be able to understand the student is no longer there for me. So now it's a matter of group questions, putting them in smaller groups, asking questions there, playing like little fun, silly games, and seeing how they respond to their peers, I guess, in that environment. Even looking at the background of their houses. They won't tell the entire story, but that kid that probably has up their, I guess a virtual background, my wheels are turning. What's going on in their household? What's going on in their background where they don't want me to see it necessarily? I might be listening for somebody yelling in the background or screaming in the background to see what their household life is like. So there are little things I can pick up on, but it's definitely not the same. Not at all. But it's a matter of just doing the best I can and adapting. So I guess my mindset is, what can I do in this environment that I would not have been able to do in person?
So that was a good answer. I wrote some notes down that you said, so thank you, Khris, because I'm still planning I teach graduate students, so right. I tend to have a different issue with them. I mean, they're usually engaged. They most of the time read the assignments. We have breakout groups.
They're paying to be there. They better be engaged.
Yeah, well, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But many of them are full-time teachers, because I teach in a graduate program of math and science education. So a lot of my students are teachers. So a lot of them are burnt out because they're exerting so much energy during the day, and then by the time they get to me in the evening, they are tired, wore out, you know what I mean, trying to do it. So I like this idea of building rapport, which is key, and using the technology tools to foster some kind of engagement. Right. And I like when you said using apps to do polling. Breakout groups is something we always encourage, going from big groups to small groups, and then you going in to kind of facilitate the dialogue in those small groups.
Right.
Being aware of students' environments, because one thing that a plus in this is you do get a snapshot into their home environment in a different way than you usually would have if they were in your classroom. You're in people's personal homes.
Right.
Man,
So
look,
that.
go ahead, babe.
Go ahead, Ray. No, go ahead.
I was about to go, not off subject, but it was a picture somebody put up of their kids, and the mother sitting beside them with her titties damn near out. She was leaning over. So I was saying all that to say, because you saying about mentioning about people's households, but it looked like it was a screenshot of a whole bunch of pictures of her, like with her breasts like fully exposed on a Zoom camera. Like, that
what
ain't
did the
cool.
teacher look like?
Was this the teacher?
No, this was the mother of a student. She was sitting beside her son. It was one picture I saw.
Like? What did the teacher look like? Did he look like Denzel Washington or something?
Nah, it didn't. Another teacher had put it up. Young lady named Deanna had put it up, but I thought it was because she a teacher. So I thought it was from her Zoom. Somebody asked her, she was like, no, it was from something that she had got. But you didn't see again, I don't know how the teacher looked, so I can't say that if the teacher was in one of the blocks or not. But you just saw a whole bunch of pictures of the mother. Like,
I was just joking. I thought maybe she was shooting her shot. Who knows?
That's such a man answer. She probably was stressed out and didn't put on a bra, but we gonna leave that alone. But I think the broader question that your question raises, Mr. Boon, is this idea of you're in people's homes, and people are in whatever ways they are at home, whether it be braless, whether it be whatever's happening in the background. You know, some people's houses, even though you may have the technology, they may not have the space to be in a quiet location to focus on whatever you asking them to focus on. Mm-hmm. I'm a grown woman and I struggle with focus. Ray will tell you. I mean, I got a lot of degrees and I've been in a lot of classes, but this being at home all the time has minimized my own productivity. I can't wait to go back in my office to work because there's a certain environment that my home has that's not my job. You see what I'm saying? My home got my refrigerator, my TV, my bed upstairs, right? It's got a whole lot of things. Mm-hmm. And I can only imagine for students, they got their toys, their video, you know what I mean? You got all these things in your home. Now you're trying to convert that to a workspace.
Yeah.
That's another part of it too. So we talk about engagement. So Khris, you gave some great examples of that. Then this whole idea of being in people's homes, how does a teacher respect that? Like, you see somebody boobs show up, what do you do? Like, okay, ma'am, can you know, like, what do you say? Because you don't want to disrespect the parent, but at the same time, you don't necessarily want to see anything inappropriate on the video.
Well, the thing is, the teacher, if they're hosting, they can stop the video. They can stop the student's video.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know. It's just, I'm sure it's very challenging for a lot of people, man. Especially these parents, man. Like, I be reading different comments and different testimonies, like these young parents or younger parents, you know, they ain't got the patience. They ain't got the motherfucking patience to fucking sit and read with their kids. I saw one comment, I can't understand this daggone mad problem. I was like, what grade the kid in? Second.
But you know what, though? That's fair, though, because we're educators, and this is the thing. This is what I want to say. I spent 25 years learning how to be an educator. A parent is not trained the same way I am. And Khris, you can acknowledge this too. There's a training involved in being a teacher. And a lot of times people minimize our professionalism.
Trivialize it.
Yeah, they make it this like, well, anybody can teach. No, anybody can't. Because you got to go through training. You got to understand curriculum. You got to understand how to build lesson plans. You got to understand how to engage, how to foster learning. Well, you know what I mean? So this
how to change on the fly.
Yeah, any random parent gonna just know how. Not saying people are parents, I don't want to say it that way, but you know what I'm saying? They're not trained as educators. So the question is, how can we provide them the most support, but understand that they are not teachers? That's why we have to get certified and bona fide and educated so we can be teachers. So
and another thing, Doc, we always have to update our pedagogical knowledge.
Exactly.
Right? So, when we talk about those summers off, we always come back early and it's always updates. It's all, oh, well, they just introduced Common Core math. Well, that's not the math I learned. And, even people are always putting up different math problems. Look how long it took to do that math problem. And look how quick this is. Well, if you're looking at the method itself, they're teaching students to do it the way you do it in your head. They teach it from a conceptual level, right? That's not something I can explain to parents. They just I don't like new math.
Right.
I don't like this new math. Well, that's not how you learned it, but we learned the old way, and then we had to come learn the new way so we could teach it to your kids.
So seeing as though that the kids can't be in the classrooms with y'all, how can they better learn it through their parents if y'all not able to teach them fully,
look,
like y'all would do in the class?
Look, I'm not going to minimize the classroom presence, but I will also say, have you watched a child watch video game walkthroughs? Anything a student wants to learn or a parent wants to learn, they'll go to YouTube and find it.
Okay.
There is YouTube University. Anything, almost anything, right? What we provide is we provide structure, we provide guidance, we provide facilitation, right? And then we provide additional knowledge for questions that you might have that might not be explained in the most clear manner, right? We might cater our explanation to your learning style or to where you are and what level you're currently sitting in, right? But if you're looking for some basic understanding, it's out there. It's literally a Google away, all right? I've seen parents look up all sorts of stuff. I've seen students look up all sorts of stuff. If you're really dying to support that hard, 1, check YouTube, hop on the internet. 2, email that parent or email that teacher, email that professor, ask questions. I mean, we will try to provide guidance because we understand what it is. And then because again, we're in an interesting space where now we're doing conference calling way more often. I'm sure there's somebody in that class that knows it. I'm sure there's another parent that knows it. Hook that Zoom meeting up, share that screen, and have them right on that, right there, and work it out for you. Because they're experts everywhere. Like Ray, I met you through kickball, but you hit me up for an educational conversation, right? They're experts sort of everywhere. We just sort of have to tap into that expertise.
Now, how can we get the parents though? The parents just how can we get the parents to just?
Well, I don't think you want to try to get grown people to do what grown people not going to do. See, I'm real clear.
I mean, for the betterment of their kids?
Well, listen to me. All I can do is provide you, and I like what he said, the structure, the knowledge, and the facilitation. That was brilliant. So there's structure, meaning as educators, we provide curriculum structure, unit structure, lesson structure.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what we do. So we have a curriculum we have to teach. It's divided into units and lessons and activities. So our job is to build those out so that learning can occur. Then we facilitate that with our own, not only our knowledge of the content, but our knowledge of how students learn. So we bring both of those knowledges, if you will, to the process. But what parents need to understand is they are going to now be co-facilitators in the process because those kids are at home. They may not have the knowledge, and they definitely don't have the structure because we're providing that.
Right.
But their role is a co-facilitator.
Can they build the structure?
No, because it's already built. I mean, they can add on. I mean, they can teach their children anything they want. As a parent of a 20-year-old, when she was little, I would go outside the curriculum and teach her as a parent, but that's because I'm a teacher. But at the very minimum, they're going to have to co-facilitate.
Can I chime in real quick? Generally, when parents think structure, they think of having an order in which kids wake up, take a shower, brush their teeth, sit in front of the computer.
Get the fuck on my site and get the hell on.
Well, no, not even that. They think structure means setting up their day.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When we talk structure, we're talking what are your procedures for coming in the classroom? We're talking what's your opening activity. We're talking what portion of this am I teaching? What questions am I putting out? What level of questions am I putting out? How am I, at what point am I allowing the students to interact with each other? When am I going to allow them to go off onto their own and do independent learning? When am I going to pull a small group who didn't quite understand? So our structure means something completely different from what parents are talking about when they think about structure, right? So the educational, the academic structure, that's what we handle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They can help out by having things structured in the household a little bit.
Right.
But
have y'all structured better?
No, not have our structure. Like our structure is the teaching structure, the format in which we're presenting the information and the order in which we present it.
Okay.
And it's not arbitrary. So Khris, tell everybody that's something you are taught to do. There's a method to how lessons are developed, units are developed, curricula are developed to foster the learning process. We don't necessarily expect parents to know that, but you're right. There are resources that can enhance that they can go to.
Like what?
Like providing the overall house structure that allows for that. They can actually support the teacher, just like we can email their students. The parents have our email.
Right.
They can email us and ask questions about how to best facilitate their kids learning this, as opposed to criticizing and critiquing what the teacher is doing because they don't understand what the teacher is trying to do. It's just like, I don't understand what a surgeon is trying to do or how
surgery, right.
Right, he's a surgeon. So for me to go up in the surgery spot and be like, well, I don't know what y'all doing. I'm like, well, you're not a surgeon, but you can at least support the process by making sure that the stuff is there when I come home from
everything's clean.
Make sure you clean. Right. So there are things you can do, but to ask that parent to be the teacher,
it ain't gonna happen.
It might be outside the scope. Yeah, go ahead, Khris.
I know what Ray's talking about. All right, so here's what parents can do, because that's what how can parents help in this situation, right?
Yeah.
If a syllabus is sent home, pay attention to the syllabus.
For one, okay.
So you understand how grading works, and how they attain their scores. But also, depending on the syllabus, they'll break down the order in which different skills are taught, right? You can hop online, start to Google some of those skills. Like, oh, so I see the second unit is, I don't know, multiplying fractions. All right, well, do they have their times tables down? Because it's going to be real difficult to multiply fractions if they don't have basic multiplications, right? So get those flashcards, go through it. What's 5 times 6? What's 7 times, go through it with them, right? Also, I can't tell you how many things I've had to look up online and learn myself.
As a teacher?
Yeah. I'm always
Roni, I'm sure you too, huh?
Yeah. Because I teach at a really diverse school. So when we get into Hispanic Heritage Month and Asian American Pacific Islander appreciation, that's not my area of expertise. And as you know, for a lot of us, Black history wasn't really our area of expertise for a variety of reasons. The amount of researching and reading I had to do and then tie that into my pedagogy, a lot of it's there. So do the Googling, do the searching, do the reading, right? And then find out what's coming down the pike. Ask questions to teachers in advance. You have I can speak for English, you have whole worksheets that are available online, literally. E-reading worksheets. Boom.
Okay. Oh, they got
worksheets they have worksheets by skill. If you're looking for character development, there's a worksheet for that. If you're looking for subject-verb agreement, there's a worksheet for that. If you're looking at the difference between independent and dependent clauses, there's a worksheet for that. But literally, if you type in a lot of these English, reading skills and type in worksheet, a lot of stuff pops up. YouTube videos, worksheets are available. A lot of PowerPoints, you can type in a lot of the skill names and find PowerPoints for them to help you go through those. Be aware of, check the online classroom, right?
Yeah.
using Canvas, some people are using Google Classroom. You should have your email tied in, so when your student gets an update, you get an update as well. When a
I
grade,
damn sure do. Me and Madison, my damn sure do.
yeah, and when a grade comes in, you understand a grade comes in, and don't jump all over them to get something wrong,
Right.
because there's effort wrong and there's I didn't really try
I
wrong.
didn't try wrong.
Got to understand the difference between the two. I can tell you, biology was not my jam in college. I got a C in biology. My parents were proud as a mutt because they know how much work went into that C, right?
Right.
On the flip side, I got a B in another subject, and they were furious because they knew I half-assed my way to that B. All right, so it's a matter of how can I help you if you're doing the best you can and not just being frustrated with the student. So, I mean, there are resources. If you we're here.
But you know what, Khris, that begs the second part of my question. Remember I said there were two things about engaging the students and the parents on the content and the curriculum and learning. But then there's the work-life balance conversation. And I think a lot of the times people, when you say, go look this up, go do this, go do that, what parents are doing is struggling just to kind of survive whatever they're being asked to do in their jobs, especially if they're working from home and co-facilitating their child's learning from home. So that's another thing. I mean, to be honest, there are 24 hours in a day.
Right.
And even the best of us who are highly proficient, highly competent, at some point we tap out.
Yeah.
And particularly for mothers, in a lot of cases, you got the mothers, unfortunately, who are running not only the educational environment at home, but they're also working. Or some of them have to. What about the parents who got to go outside to work?
That's how I was about to touch on that. I was about to touch on that. Like, I mean, how are these kids like? And I mean, yeah, I don't know, but it's like like I always say to you, Dr. Ellington, man, this shit fucked up, man. Because it's like you said, some of these parents, they ain't got no choice but to go out. So some of these kids may not even be online doing what they got to do.
And then they have older siblings, so a lot of the brunt, you know, what I'm also hearing is that parents who work outside the home, particularly low-income parents who can't afford to bring somebody in or go to, you know what I mean? You got your brother who's in the 11th grade trying to manage his stuff with the kids because she got to work. Yeah. So you talk about this balance component, that's a big deal because yes, we can facilitate and help and look up stuff and all of that.
The home got to be balanced.
Yeah, your mind got to be balanced. I mean, like I said, I'm a person who's highly productive and I'm in the struggle trying to balance. I mean, again, my daughter's 20. I ain't even want to pretend like I'm balancing her, but there's still household things to manage. There's
life,
your job. There's relationships you trying to keep going, which I struggle trying to keep them going because I can't even see my way out. You know what I mean? To just so these are things that parents are also dealing with. And like I said, Khris, I don't have an answer to that, but I know that I'll tell parents, be kind to yourself. Don't try to do everything because you're not. You got to prioritize what's most important. And your children got to be at the top of the list. I know we got to make money. I know we got to, you know, quote unquote, make a living, but you're doing that for your children. Right. So you got to figure out how to make sure that they're okay in the midst of all else that you're being asked to do. And it's unfortunate. It ain't the best situation, but.
Let me ask you this. How do y'all feel about them possibly going back to school the second quarter?
Is that second quarter or third?
Second, well, whenever. They trying to get them to go back to school this season.
It's based on the numbers.
I've been thinking about this one because somebody
else. I want to hear it on a collegiate level.
College students are not going to social distance as a lifestyle. Let me tell you, and they darn sure ain't doing it at no HBCU. No, that ain't happening. People gonna be getting together. They gonna be congregating. That's what college is. So if that's gonna be the rule that's required for kids to go back, cut that. I just don't see it happening. I don't see kindergartners. I don't see none of these kids. Like you talking about social distancing, wearing a mask. I just don't see how that's going to play out in a school environment. What's your thoughts, Khris?
I think And I've seen a few educators touch on it. The version of school that they're going to get, I probably might be more productive online.
Say that one more time.
I said the version of school that they would get based on CDC guidelines and all that good stuff.
Online is better.
I would probably be more productive online. Because what I would have a harder time creating groups and having them talk to each other in person, given those guidelines, than I would online.
Because let me interject real quick.
We're doing this right now. Yeah.
Exactly. Because I heard something like, whereas if they was to decide to do in-person schooling, for even they were just talking about school age, this conversation I heard, it was like the paper and the paper exchange from students to teacher would be cut out, one. Or two, like Ronnie said, these youngins that's in the kindergarten, at least the kindergarten to the third, fourth grade, they ain't gonna want to sit still for no 8 hours in one classroom. 2, 3, they cutting out going to cafeterias for lunch. 4, they can't do no daggone social learning amongst each other because they're gonna have the mask on and they got to be apart. 4, and then 5. Matter of fact, it was a teacher out of Ohio. She got so daggone flushed she started crying because she couldn't figure out how she was going to construct her classroom. You know what I'm saying? To be, a distance, physical distance, not social, physical distance enough for students to sit still. And she was teaching, I think third grade.
Hey, 2 things. You see these boxes we got around us virtually?
Mm-hmm.
So these are gonna be physical boxes in person. And then you gotta spread them out. So good luck with that. And the second
thing, and then you're gonna end up having to be a police officer trying to police all of that.
Especially at my level, yeah.
Yeah, and you're talking about middle school teachers. What grade do you teach, Khris?
Yeah, middle school.
Oh God, you going to heaven. I could never do that. Oh no. Middle school, I have a story. Middle school teachers and social workers are going straight to heaven. I don't care what you did in this life, because that job is no joke under the best circumstances. You talking about physical distancing and masks in middle school?
And they slowly but surely transitioning over to adulthood eventually.
Yeah. Oh no, they are. Love my. I ain't like my own kid in middle school, much less the middle.
I heard a lot of people say that. Yeah, I heard a lot of parents say they don't fuck with their kid in middle school ages.
We get a lot of parent conferences where it's like, I never saw him or her like this before. And I like, they in middle school now. They get brand new. But the other thing I was going to say is, if you're in PG County, you've seen all the housing that's going up. It's townhouse communities everywhere. Ain't no new schools yet. So imagine those class sizes, right? So you're talking about, even if you cut those class sizes in half, you're still talking about 20 kids in a small room, because there are some class sizes over 40. You're talking about 20 kids, even if you cut it in half and do an 8A, B-Day sort of thing. And it's not big enough to do 6 feet on all sides? That's not possible. And then they're going to go ahead and cut it down and make it 3 feet on all sides. And then somebody's not going to feel safe with that, because somebody kid got asthma, somebody kid is diabetic, somebody kid has some other autoimmune disease. So yeah, I don't know. I have a hard time thinking about sending those kids back that have those pre-existing conditions and those autoimmune deficiencies. And like, what is their existence going to be like in school? How they going to focus when they just worried about if they're going to be all right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't see it happening. Even when we were talking about it, because our president was going to initially have us go back, right? And it was all these conditions. We had to go get tested. We got to wear a mask. And I was like, this ain't going to work, because COVID is such that even if today you don't have it, if you get tested today, in 3 days you can still have it, because you still going to be out and about. Something can happen. You could go to the grocery store. Like, it's not this thing you can constantly trace and then get rid of people quick enough in order not to infect people, because people could be earnest, right? I'm a professor. I can go get tested tomorrow and be like, I'm good. Ray come to my house. We, whatever, we go out, we get some food, and then maybe, we real safe. But you know what I'm saying? You just did somebody get sick? Now I didn't know, and now everybody messed up in the game. You see what I'm saying? It's just too, the way COVID operates, what it's going to require. And that's why we had to not open, because the Board of Regents was like, it's too much to manage. You can't manage it like that. It's an airborne situation.
Yeah.
It's airborne. So as long as you out in some air and you know what I mean, you're not 100% safe.
It's tough all around, yo. It really is.
And then teaching, and Khris, teaching middle school in PPE, I don't even know. Listen.
Hey Doc, let me tell you something. I got pink eye for the first time in my 30s messing around with them germ carriers, man.
Listen.
And the thing is, and look, the kid clearly had pink eye. and the parents still sent them to school. You think that's not gonna happen with COVID? I mean, they've already reported a case where I think the parents had it and they were just like, well, we thought we might have, but we weren't sure. We were waiting for the test results to come in. Nah, champ, you was breathing a little hard walking up them steps. You knew what it was. And you still sent the kid to school to go infect people. If you think that it only happens with the cold, the flu, with pink eye and all them other joints, it's going to happen with COVID too. There's going to be a parent who prioritizes, I have to get to work. I can't take another day off. They seem okay. They only coughing a little bit. And they sending them to me. When they walk around with their mask right here.
Yep.
Half on. What, so even, I guess, if they was to come about with the A day, B day, that wouldn't even be.
Because you're going to still have the same issue on the A day, B day. And also, Khris, think about this.
I'm thinking.
What you gonna sanitize the whole building? Get out of here. We barely can get the people to clean up and pick up the stuff daily. Now we're gonna have this deep sanitizing on the A days and the
That's
B
what I be
days.
saying. Yeah, that's my whole argument with that. Like, how the fuck y'all gonna do a quick clean turnover or disinfect turnover within 24 hours for the B side? It's not gonna happen. Because one of you cleaning motherfuckers gonna go home with that shit.
And then honestly, it's a lot more work on the teachers, because we're essentially planning 2 dual lessons. We're planning the online piece for the kids who are home on A day, and we have to plan the in-person piece for the kids that are at school on A day. So it ends up being dual work, because what do I give my B day kids who haven't gotten the lesson the A day kids got already? So it's quite a bit to juggle. I don't know what the answers are. I think what we're seeing is how deeply dependent societal constructs are on school, right? And I was talking with somebody about this, how the school has turned into the community hub for everything. At one point, it simply was just education and then, I guess, daytime daycare, but we've turned into a language line where we're teaching parents foreign language or how to teaching foreign parents English. We've turned into where you get psychology. We've turned into free meals. We give kids free meals on the weekends when we know they don't have much. The school, a lot is dependent upon the school functioning normally, and we're seeing in a case where it can't. Sort of everything's kind of falling apart. So the government's going to have to figure out something regarding daycare and childcare, because if there's any other case where schools, the kids can't be sent to school.
So how challenging has it been? You already started teaching again, right, Khris?
No, right now we're still in professional development. We start on Monday, but my nephew's staying with us. He started school. My stepson's here. He started school, and we got a newborn. So
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. So we're working, and their kids are still doing the kid stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So what are your goals and your plans as a teacher coming into this upcoming school season for you? What you think? What are you doing to do different? To help your kids be able to be successful more as much as you can.
Make it. That's my goal. Make it. That's it. That's the whole goal, just to make it. No, in all seriousness, I'll pop by, sort of check on the screen here and there when I can, during whether it's my planning period or lunch break. But for me, it's more the rundown of the day afterward. So what you cover, what you do, how are the classes, what particular topics are you discussing right now? Or let me help with that. Let me, add what I can here and there. I will say one of the things we've always been a big proponent of in this household is reading stuff together. And it's not necessarily full novels because, parents might not have time for that. But even if it's one article from Washington Post or something from Players Tribune, like that's my favorite website, playerstribune.com. Where that's the joint where the athletes sort of write their own articles. I mean, some of them really write their own articles, and some write their own articles. But yeah, as long as I can pull an article, we can read that article or a short story or something together, and then we can discuss it and analyze it. That's how we've always sort of built their reading stamina, their reading ability, and their critical thinking.
And
so
you, Dr. Ellington? What's your goals or what's your plans for the upcoming collegiate school season for you in the HBCU?
Surviving, making it.
Make it.
That's all I got. I wish it was more sophisticated than that. Making it without me losing my little brain, losing my little whatever, my hair, my brain. Yeah. And as a faculty member, not only am I teaching, so that's another thing. I'm running grant projects.
Yeah.
I got service to do. I got meetings all the time for stuff on the university level, the school level. I'll be running 4 grants this fall. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I got dissertation students I'm guiding. I'm trying to teach these little classes. I don't know. I don't even know.
Hats off to you, Doc.
For you. I don't know. And I got a boyfriend who's demanding, so I'm just out here trying to keep it together. That's all. Trying to keep us in one accord, and I don't know how I'm gonna do it. That's all I got for you.
Hey, Doc, I be trying to tell people dating an educator is different.
It is.
It's different. It's different. I married an educator.
Don't get him started.
I married an educator, so.
Oh, it's 2 of y'all?
Yeah.
Oh,
we work in the same building.
So how is she managing? I mean, is she on the break right now because of maternity, correct?
No, not well. No. So the baby's 4 months now.
Okay.
So relatively new, but no. The one thing that's helped us is that we have different planning blocks. So once we're in, and mind you, I'm supposed to be planning during this time, which I will, but.
Well, I appreciate your time, sir.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I'm with the baby when I'm planning. She's with the baby when she's planning. But then there are times we're both teaching together.
What grade level she teach?
So she's in 6th. I'm in 7th.
All right. Ooh, fuck. Damn, you're smelling yourself years.
Well,
I just want to know how y'all keep the relationship going, because listen. But that again goes to the work-life balance. You got a 4-month-old, you got a household with 2 teachers.
And other kids.
Y'all got other kids too?
The nephew and the stepson.
Yeah, nephew's 15, my stepson's 11.
So you already got that middle school era in both of them kids. For real, they 11-year-old going into it.
High school,
15-year-old
high school,
grasping.
Yeah, high school, middle school, and cradle.
But you know what? That's a good challenge for you all. You know what I'm saying?
No, it ain't no good challenge.
I mean,
I reject that. Because I reject that, Ray. I reject that. That ain't no good challenge. That's crazy talk. That's a lie.
I'm saying for 2 educators.
No, because they got other people's kids to educate during the day, what they get paid to do. They got their children they got to facilitate and keep straight, and they got a baby in the crib.
I'm saying that it's a challenge in the brotherhood, sisterhood.
Nah, whatever. Put your hands down. That's crazy talk.
King strive.
Hey, Doc, I appreciate you rejecting it. I can't reject it because it's my whole life, but I appreciate you rejecting it on my behalf.
That's crazy talk. I would no.
Yeah, I lose my head. I lose my mind, but I mean, it seems like it's working successfully, and we pray that it continues to work.
They're making it. Just because you make something work doesn't mean it's workable. I feel like
it's workable.
Wait. Let me say my point. I could throw somebody in a ditch with a cup of water and say, make it happen. And our survival instincts might have them, get water out the dirt, put water. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not suggesting if you threw me in a grave and threw down some water and said, Roni, make it happen, I can't make it for a little bit. But I'm saying that is not a sustainable paradigm on a regular basis. That's just crazy. Now, they're going to do what they do. I'm clear, because we as Blacks in particular, we have overcome a lot. I can't even imagine how somebody was enslaved and had to make it happen, right?
A warrior mentality.
That's where we got chitlins and hog mogs and all that from, right? Because we got the scraps. But I'm saying it's very much less than ideal to have 2 teachers with 3 children, one in the cradle and the middle school. That's
and the high
crazy.
school. Yeah.
My hat's off to you. I'm gonna get off this. On that note, I ain't got nothing else to say, because I got a 20-year-old and I'm in the struggle, so I can't even imagine. I barely want to do. Listen, if I could figure out how to quit my job, there was days I'm like, you know what? I might be able to make it if I do something else. I don't know. Give up tenure, all that, because it's just a lot. Mm-hmm. So anyway, tell your wife, bless her heart.
Well,
what you about to say, Chris?
Well, Doc, you actually brought a point that I forgot to mention. Please, to the best of your ability, be patient with us. Please be patient with us, right? Because we are the same way a lot of people are like, I don't know how I'm working from home and dealing with my kid. We are also working from home and dealing with our kids.
Yeah.
The same way people are like, yo, my level of technology is hard for me to keep up. There are teachers just like, yo, my level of technology, this is difficult to keep up. We're experimenting and we're all in a new situation together. So we're all trying to figure it out on the fly. We're building the plane as we're flying it. So
I think the mobile can work too, because like my daughter mother, I told her, man, look, bring Madison over here on Wednesday. I'll keep her from Wednesday to Thursday to give her a break. The way she can clear her head, do what she got to do. And we can do the weekly going forward in the school season until I go back to work, since I'm furloughed right now. You know what I'm saying?
But think about it. When you are back to work, she's on her own.
I feel you. But I mean, again, like I told her, I am here to help and assist as much as I can for the time being that I can.
But see, even that thinking, when you talk about doing the most that you can, what if the most is not enough for your child to be successful?
Well, I mean, you got to teach your child to be successful.
No. I'm just saying, just for parents.
Okay.
I'm saying in general. I'm not just speaking about you. I'm saying parents, I believe, are always doing the best that they know to do. Now, we could judge it and be like, well, that's better. I know better, right? But everybody, I believe, I look at the best in people. People are doing the best they can with what they know. Mm-hmm. Parents, teachers, everybody. Now, when you know better, you do better. That's what Maya Angelou said. If you know better, you do better. The question is, when what you are doing is not sufficient, then what? Mm-hmm. Because what I am concerned about is, where is this going to leave our children?
Yeah, man.
Everybody's quote doing the best they can. But at the end of the day, there are still needs that need to be met. It's like, I always use this example. If I'm doing the best I can and my rent or my mortgage is $1,000 and the best I can is $400, I still got a $600 deficit.
Right.
I can't go to the rent man and be like, well, I did the best that I could. Mm-hmm. Well, what was required was $1,000 and you gave me $400 or $600. There's still a gap.
That classism gap is going to widen academically.
Yeah. That's real. And everybody's out here doing, I believe everybody's out here doing the best they can. But sometimes the best we can has a consequence.
What do you mean by the classism? What do you mean by that classism, that statement, Chris?
Oh, yeah. So there are definitely, parents that pull their kids out of public school who can afford it, put their kids in private school because private schools don't have to follow the same mandates we do.
Oh, okay.
So they're getting a little more in-person instruction. So they might be able to build that rapport a little quicker, and they might be able to sort of latch on to what a teacher is teaching and what the teacher is providing. And you also, and they have these pods now, right? Right. So you have these people who have these learning pods and learning communities, and then you have like stay-at-home parents. Like, I'm not working. I'll go ahead homeschool you.
Mm-hmm.
I can afford to stay home and teach full time. Sure. So yeah, there's going to be a bigger gap because there are going to be some definite deficits coming out of this, but not as deeply felt for those who have financial means.
Well,
and the biggest correlate between academic achievement is SES. We always, when I do research, it amazes me. It is parent income. It always comes out as one of the biggest variables in student success. Resources.
The resources.
When you got resources, you can buy. Just like, how the people who did the college, they went and bought for real. They took it to the next level. The ones that bought their kids into college, right? Them folks, they had money. We can't do that. I can't buy my daughter into Howard. I ain't got that kind of money, right? But you're right. And so my thing is for parents to understand that you got to put your child first. It's going to be some gaps. We're going to have to deal with that, right? Like, let's not pretend that just because we're doing the best we can, that it's going to be sufficient for where students need to be. Now, I'm okay with that. I even tell my graduate students, look, my class is not going to be the same as if it was in person. Mm-hmm. I'm not putting that pressure on me. I'm going to do the best I can. There are going to be some things that get missed. Y'all, but they grown. So I'm like, look, here's where y'all can fill the gaps. Because Dr. Ellington can't be all things to everybody and running this and running that. You know what I mean? So I'm just real transparent about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, I teach adults. I teach, college graduate students. So they like, all right, Dr. E, whatever. We make sure we just pick it up when we need to, because they already have the reading knowledge and, certain basics that they can go and out here and learn without me.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you're talking about a kindergartner, huh?
I said I can't tell my students that.
You can't. That's middle school. No, you can't. No, you in a whole different situation.
Well, I appreciate the talk. Any closing remarks from anyone of you all? Any suggestions?
I say give yourself some compassion. Everybody, teachers, parents, students, do your best. Understand that there's going to be some missing, and we just going to have to be okay with that. Like, I'm just saying, we're in a pandemic. I keep telling people, we're not just teaching from home. We're in a pandemic. God forbid. Like, come on. If this was 50 years ago, we wouldn't even have an option of Zoom class. Right. It'll be people going to be home for real.
They be home, I can only imagine. Ooh,
with a packet and whatever. And they wouldn't even get a packet because they ain't got no, we'd have ditto machines back in the day. Y'all probably too young for all that. I ain't going to go there about, shut up. You better not say nothing. But ditto machines. And we ain't had no, shut up, Raymond, don't you say nothing. So luckily we are in an age where we can at least do some kind of instruction through technology. But we're in a pandemic. And a pandemic means stay home. It's like a plague. Stay home, be safe, take care of yourself first. And all this rest of this education stuff will catch up. The kids ain't going, we're going to still be here, even though they may not have learned everything in the curriculum.
And then
I
think, and we ain't even tapping. I mean, not to be, that's another conversation, but just the kids' mentality on here. That's why I wish I could have had like a student or two just to hear, how they really feel about this shit. Because like you said, Dr. Ellington, excuse me, it's going to affect them at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
But it's all right.
It's affecting everyone, but I up in here too. They ain't really able to hang out like they want to. And that there was school activities, playing ball.
Yeah, it's not just, you're right, it's not just learning, there's activity. Yeah.
Minimizing a lot of opportunities for these kids to prosper, you know what I'm saying, in the arts, as well as the athletic, as well as even academic, because you can't go to travel to show that you doing it academic. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah. But we're in a pandemic.
My daughter graduated in 2030. Woo!
Now, what does that mean, babe?
I got a long way to go. You good. Yours one more year.
His kid is in the cradle. I know you ain't talking to Khris. He got a kid in the cradle.
Hold up. I went from the oldest kids first. Hold up. Your kid is the oldest first. I was born to Khris' kid. Khris got a couple more years amongst both of them. And the 4-month-old. So the 4-month-old, Lord, we need to talk about them. Her, him. What is it, boy or girl, Khris?
Yeah, my daughter gonna be here for a little bit.
Yeah. So, but I just
y'all, I got another meeting. I'm glad I was able to talk to you. Nice to meet you, Khris.
Likewise,
good
Doc.
show, Mr. Boon.
Thank you. I appreciate this, man. Hopefully, I'm gonna try to get this done again with more participants and people in the education field, as well as students and or a couple of parents. So be looking out for that. I appreciate you all's time. Thank you all.
All right. You're welcome.
Bless
all right, babe.
All right, Doc. Take care.